The Black Fat Femme podcast is a production of iHeartRadio and Dr. John Paul, LLC. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Black Fat Femme podcast where all the intersections of identity are celebrated. I'm one of your hosts, John, also known as Dr. Jon Paul, and I'm happy to report that we survived the year 2023. Insert clap, insert clap, insert clap. My God. What a moment. What a journey. We are back like cooked crack. But like I've said, I am so thankful that we are here and that we have survived another year. And that rhymes. How are you, girl?
Freebie, you said we back like cook crack, and I'm like, not
yes,
right.
honey. In the fried pan. Meth. Do you remember that commercial? Are you old enough to know that commercial?
No.
I'm not throwing shade. I'm just asking.
No, I don't know. I'm like, what commercial? was there a commercial about crack in the pan?
Yes, girl, there was a commercial about I think it was meth. It was back in like the early 90s. Listeners, if you know about this commercial, please comment and please send us messages about it. But yes, it was like I'll have to send you the link after the show, but it's this woman, she's like cleaning up her house. She's like, where did I get all that energy? Meth. Meth.
Stop.
Yes, girl. It was from the 90s. And then there was This Is Your Brain on drugs, and This Is Your Brain on blah blah blah. Yeah, girl. They had infomercials for all the drugs.
That's wild. That's wild. That's why what a time to be alive back then. What time to be alive today. This year so far is giving. All I can think about is I just keep playing Survivor, but just Child every day because that's what I feel about 2023. Fam, it is Jon, aka Joho, and I am glad to be back again for one more year of life. Hopefully a lot more, but just for this year right now, one more year of life. And I pray, truly I pray, God, I pray, even for my worst enemies. And 2024 is a year that blesses us in the ways that we need because 2023, girl, I'm a survivor. I'm not gonna give up. I'm not gonna stop. I learned in 2023 that I am not God's toughest warrior. Do not give me your hardest battle, sir. I actually do not need them. I have fought the good fight for way too long now, and I am good to just relax because I feel like last year was about survival. And God, if you hear me, but let this year be about thrival, please. I'm just trying to thrive.
I know that's right. Thrival. I live for that. I was laughing because I saw on someone's Instagram, they had said, I don't know who's writing my story in this television show, but I don't need any more character development.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah.
Like,
could they go on strike, please? It's something how I feel. I'm like,
whoever's writing this story, go on strike. I live for it. I know that's right, honey, because I feel the same way. 2023 tried me in ways I never, ever thought that it would try me. And I know that we're a couple of days, I would say we're actually a couple of weeks out and away from the new year. So we won't spend a lot of time talking about our new year. But how are you feeling so far before we jump to the show? How is your soul? How is you?
How is my soul in life? Oh, interesting. My soul. So I would say, how is I 2024? I feel like already has hands. Like I feel like this girl, she came with the boxing gloves ready. It is already going for a little bit of a whirlwind, but this year I refuse to lose control unless it's by the music make you lose control. Because that's what I'm trying to. I feel this year. I think so far this month, January is like my planning phase. It's like I'm still chilling, I'm hibernating a little bit, and I'm planning for the year ahead, both of myself. Like this year, I realized I want to get back to my fashion bag. I want to get back into my writing bag. I feel like I've written so long. I want to start doing published pieces. I'm ready. I'm ready for BFF to go to new heights. I'm ready to to really get us popping on there too. So I think this month is a planning month, and I feel like it's going good so far in that way. I'm prioritizing rest. 2024 is trying to not let me do that, and she keeps throwing things at me. But I'm like, bitch, you could just stop. But this time I'm catching them. Last year I was not catching them. I was just getting hit in the face by them. This year I'm catching them. I'm like, you won't get me today, bitch. So we'll see how long that lasts. How about you?
Kind of in the same vein, I feel like this month has been a lot of just me having to sit with and having to kind of, think a lot, just thinking a lot and really planning a lot. But I think on the brighter side, as you all can hear, and for some of you, you will see us. So
Oh,
we're starting off the year with a new where you'll be able to actually see us as we're recording.
oh shit.
Go over to the YouTubes and tell your girls to sign up because we're doing it. You'll see us in video, but also too, I think it's just been a lot of sitting with the joy of this year, being a year where I'm hoping that everything that I planted for 2023 is going to blossom this year. I think we did a really good job last year and I mean we talked about this a few shows ago, but we did a very good job last year of solidifying ourselves as quote unquote podcasters and really
Mm,
being out there for the girls to see us. And I think that, even with like the live show, I'm still getting people who are saying that they loved, the live show and they can't wait for us to do it again. And so there are all of these things that we did last year that I feel like this year is really setting us up for. And I'm really, really excited for it. However, in traditional fashion, we're gonna keep the show moving. And I think it's really cool that we've already started talking about kind of the things that we're looking forward to and the things that we've seen this year. And so I want to ask you, in tradition, in celebrating and giving Miss Tisha Campbell her flowers. Every week we do it. And I also want to shout her out. If you didn't get a chance to see her at the Emmys,
Kim,
baby
how
mama was
good she
giving,
looked. How
you
good
know,
she looked. Oh my
she
god. That moment with her
amazing.
Tichina Arnold and Queen Brunson. Ah,
Yeah, yeah,
ah,
yeah.
I live.
They look.
She looked
Mhm. I know we're not gonna spend a lot of time talking about the Emmys because by the time y'all hear this, the
good.
Emmys will have been passed, but I will say is I didn't love Quinta's dress. I didn't love
Mm,
it. It looked like it needed to be steamed, and I know that that was a
mm,
very expensive look, and it was supposed to be the style, but I didn't like it. But
mhm, mhm.
Tashina and Miss, Tisha Campbell, they
Candle.
gave.
Mhm,
They definitely gave. But
mm,
anyway, wanted to ask you, in the past, 3 weeks, obviously, we're getting ready to go into the end of January, and we're back on the air, and we've had some time to kind of refresh and reset and rethink about where we're going and even, thinking about new conversations, right? I wanted to ask you, what have you deemed a victory for yourself so far this year? And it can be big, it can
mm.
be small, but I wanna know, what do you consider a victory for
A
Jordan?
victory. Oh, I
Victory.
love this question. Okay. Hmm. So I guess I would say a victory I have is that I feel more clear than I did last
Mm,
year on my
mhm.
priorities for myself. I feel like
Yeah.
last year, as I shared before, several episodes, like last year was just a big depressive episode. I was experiencing symptoms, depression, and like dissociating from a lot of things within myself and the world around me,
Mm,
and
mhm.
and feeling like I was just so disconnected. It was an interesting thing because I thought, I think I said before, like when I moved, I thought moving was gonna solve my problems. Like, oh,
Yeah,
she moves and it all comes together. Then I
right.
realized, oh no. Like when you move, now I'm in the space to solve my shit, which is great because now I have the
Mhm.
space to do it.
Yeah.
Versus like just sitting and like not be able to do it. So I appreciate that now I have the ability to figure my shit out by having moved and having the mental space and physical space to like do that and feel different and do and try different things, experiment with myself. But now I'm like, oh shit, the work begins now. Like now
See,
begins,
yeah.
here lies the work. And I was like, oh, the work, why? Well, I'll be here
Mhm.
today. But my victory is that I am finally in the space to start, chipping away at it. And I have my priorities a lot more clear than before. I know what
Mm,
I'm gonna do and how I'm gonna do it. Like I said at the top of this, I want to get back my fashion bag, writing bag. I want to be more involved with community. Ooh, girl, I can't say it right. Community again, community titties, and
come
I am
on, communities.
community
Yes.
titties.
Yeah,
And
communities. Hey. Yeah, yeah.
so this year, I feel really good about where I'm going. I,
Where
I'm
you going?
okay. I know what's that song? It's right where I'm going, but no,
I've
I don't know where
never
I'm going.
I
Never
don't
heard that
know
song
this
before. Oh my
song.
god. Oh my
No,
god.
I'm not a
Okay.
Hairspray girl.
Queen
Sorry.
Latifah does a great version of the Hairspray film. Jennifer
Mhm.
Hudson does a great version in the filmed televised um live show version of it a few years ago.
Okay.
It's just it just the song itself. I know where I've been is a good song, and I realize actually lyrically it says I don't know where I'm going, so I will redact that. But I do know where I've been, and I know where I'm going
You
next.
know where you been, but you may not know. I know that. So yeah, baby, I'm right there with you. Neither do I. No, I feel you. I feel you. I think like last year, and I hate to keep going back to it, but I think last year was very much a year for so many of us to we were being pushed a lot. And when I say pushed, I
True.
think it just felt like we were, I think last year was a lot of adultness of it, like the adult of it all kind of hit both of us. And I
Yeah.
remember like sharing with you offline, like we've had Kiki's offline where we've talked about, I know I'm a few years older than you, but I definitely feel like the adultingness of it, like people glorify it, and we never really get a chance to sit and talk with like what it's like to be a full ass adult in a
Yeah.
world that's really not set up for us to be successful, right?
Oh. Ooh.
So just being an adult has been hard, so I feel that. I will say, kind of to your vein of being pushed, mine is not actually I'm thinking, I'm like, oh, I want mine to be so like inspirational and things. No, I think for me, mine has been hydration. Girl, last year, there were days, I'll be transparent and say, last year there were days where I would go to bed and I'd be like, oh, I don't think I drank enough water today. And I could,
Mm.
and it's funny because your body will tell you, the ways that your body tenses up, the way that your body feels, the way that you move. I'm not a proponent of that whole believer of like everything is about eating healthy and being great. Like I believe a lot of that is bullshit and propaganda to make you feel bad about who you are. But I
Mm.
will say that I do believe that water is essential, and I think a lot of us need water.
Yes.
We need more water, especially if we're in a climate where either it's hot or even right now, like with it being colder, I can feel my body being like, "Girl, where's the water?" So I
Mm.
bought this jug. I mean, for those of you who are watching, I have this 32
Yes.
it's 33-ounce jug.
Yes, my little,
Shout out to
citizen
Peloton if she
jug
wants to
prime, yeah.
inspire me,
Oh,
honey. It's a
she
Peloton
branded,
jug. Yes,
yes.
girl, it's a
She a branded
Peloton
jug.
jug. And I try to remind myself to drink at least 3 a day. My thing is if I like literally I'm telling myself, okay, by 11 or 12, I'm like, girl, you should have already had one full one of these. And then by like 3 o'clock, I tell myself again, girl, you should be on two. And so this one, like I have a little bit of water in here still, but I'm like literally on two. And so my thing is like after dinner I refill it again, and by the time I go to bed it's done. And so I'm like, okay, now I'm at
Mm,
least getting 100 ounces of water a day. And I know people are like, oh, it's about your body weight and all of that, but I will tell you, just having 100 ounces of water in my body a day, I genuinely can feel the difference. Like I'm not even holding myself. Like that's one of the things I said. It can be small. It may seem small to other people, but it's so big for me because I will be transparent. I'm not a huge water drinker. I've never been. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a sweetie in this situation, and I'm saying water's
mm,
nasty. I don't say that water's nasty. It's just I'm so used to picking up tea. I'm so used to picking up coffee. I'm so used to picking up a diet soda. Like I'm real good about these are the things I like, and I grab them, and I have to remind myself like, oh well, water also needs to be a part of that equation, girl, because you're getting older and you
yes.
need. So I'm just
Also,
doing little things, and most people there are actually studies that show a lot of people don't get enough water. So
they
um,
they don't I also say, like, 100 ounces is actually a good amount of water because, like, they say you should be drinking half your body size in ounces, and was like, "Girl, if I have that much, I'll drown." So,
right,
like,
right, right,
so, like, 100 ounces, to my understanding of how science works, like, that's actually a great amount of water. People don't reach
mhm,
that much. Like, people don't reach, like, 64 ounces or, like, a gallon of
yeah,
water themselves. So,
yeah.
you hydrate, and it shows on your skin, girl. Your skin
Oh,
popped today.
thank you,
So,
honey. Shout out.
yeah.
Yeah, and I'm a little sweaty too, because again, I'm under the lights. So for those of you who are watching, I'm just a big girl. I'm under the lights and I'm sweating, but I'm still trying to stay cute. I say glistening and things. But yeah, just really trying to be. I think what you said and what I said is a very great correlation of we're trying to be intentional about taking care of ourselves a little bit better water. And
Mm-hmm.
I know we talk a lot about that on this show, but a big part of it is actually doing the work. And so for me, a big part of that work is actually drinking water. All right, girl. Well, with that being said, we are going to pay some bills per usual. When we get back, we are going to talk about something splashy that y'all seem to like to tussle about on the interwebs. So grab a snack and come on back. All right, y'all. So we are back, and I wanted to start this week off with a quick trigger warning.
Mm.
I know this topic can, so I'm gonna say this before I actually get into the actual show flow of it all and us having the real conversation. I don't know where this conversation is gonna go.
Ooh.
I think I will say that I believe that I know you, I've known you long enough. We've had enough conversations both online and online as sisters to be able to know that this conversation, we know how we feel about it, but again, there's so
Mm-hmm.
many different thoughts, there's so many different nuances. We are going to be talking about in this episode about intentional weight loss. We had mentioned, I think maybe I would say about 10 or 15 episodes ago, that we were going to do this episode, and we're finally getting to it. For those of you who are listening and this may just be a topic you're like, I don't really want to engage this conversation, whether you have things that you're dealing with or you're just emotionally not in a place where you want to engage this conversation, I will have our producers put line notes in the show
Mm.
notes to make sure that if you want to skip to the actual next segment, you can. But with that being said, I just definitely wanted to say that we are going to be talking about weight loss, eating disorders, and overall body image. And I wanted to make sure that, for those of you who may say this, girl, I just ain't it. I'm not here for it. Want to go ahead and give you the okay to skip. So yeah, with that being said, I wanted to bring this up because for those of you who know me, I have seen The Color Purple twice. And what really sparked this for me was, I don't know if you've seen Oprah on her campaign trail for the film, but she's
Mm.
been very so I'll start here and say this. When I first, because Oprah was at the first screening I was at, and I saw Oprah and I said, "Oh, mama is thin." She's not like, there's a difference between like, oh, she's, you could tell that she's changed her habits a little bit. Then you can always go, oh wow, someone has lost a lot of weight. Mama is thin in person.
Mm.
And so I looked at Jonathan and my partner and I said, I am sure she's on Ozempic. I said, I just know she's on.
Mm.
um, sure enough, a couple of days went by. And I don't know if it was the Hollywood Reporter or if it was Variety, but it was one of them who had said that, Oprah has been very vocal about how she's so thankful for Ozempic. And she said that she's
Mm.
happy that it is helping her stay healthy. Um, I want to process that notion around stay healthy before we move on,
Mm.
because it triggered me a little bit, right, around this idea that there's so many celebrities. Like, I don't know, and I don't know if you're feeling it too, Joho, and that's why I brought it up. There was a time where I feel like everyone was kind of like, just love your body and just do what makes you happy, and
Yeah.
you can love who you are and be successful and do your thing. And then we just went to this like, like everyone started to lose weight again.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And I just was like, "What's
Mm.
going on here?" Um, Go ahead.
I've definitely seen some celebs whom we love, some celebs who are historically been fat folks. I've seen some influencers that we love who historically been fat
Oh,
folks
yes.
who have lost, who visibly show that they've lost weight. And it's interesting. What I can say is the folks, of quite a few of the folks who are within that category, haven't talked about it, and
Right,
I appreciate that, because when someone calls them out in about it, like, they they're not going to engage in like fat phobic rhetoric, and I appreciate
right,
that. Like,
right,
I can hold your journey as your journey with your body, and like that is okay.
right.
To your point about about our girl Miss Orpa. If it is just everyone knows that's her actual name. People be like, why'd you call her Orpa? That's her actual name,
Oh,
Orpa.
was it
Um,
Orpa?
it's Orpa, Orpah. She just calls herself Oprah. I cannot
Duh.
tell you why, but it's Orpa, and I was like, "Okay," and actually, I love the name Orpa, I think it's a really beautiful name,
It's cute.
Orpa, so
Okay.
our girl
That's cute.
Orpa,
You need to
but Miss Oprah Winfrey, the fact that she announces something like that, and
right.
especially a medication that, I mean, has become a bit of a punchline for people is interesting too,
Tea.
right? How many people
Mhm,
joke
mhm.
about, like, "Just give me Ozempic and I'll be fine," and it's like, there are actually, like, very serious, like, health consequences that could come with
Yeah.
that. For some people,
Oh,
it works
yes.
for them, and, like, happy for them that it works for them, and hopefully that they don't face long-term consequences of it, or, like, long-term negative consequences of it, but, like, I wouldn't sit here and be like, "Yeah, Ozempic," and also, I mean, again, Oprah's interesting because she's been sometimes I think, how long are you going to be invested in, like, weight loss culture
As a yeah, as a
when she's
brand
been
for you.
doing it
Yeah.
for decades? And part of me is like, you've done several things, and none of them have worked the way you want them to work, clearly, like, because you are doing more things. And not trying to
Right.
be not trying to be shady,
No, I
no
don't think you're
shade,
being shady. I don't think you're being shady,
I mean,
honey.
but I'm saying, like, you doing all these things that you continue doing, and so I'm
Right.
like, so I'm like, so part of me is like, to the point about staying healthy, I'm like, but have you, regardless,
Right,
if you
right.
keep doing different things, like, what is
Mhm.
working or not working for you? So yeah, so that's just like a top level thought that I have, especially on that kick. And of course, the healthy part is just like,
Right.
when people say, like, stay healthy or being healthy, like, I wish in my lifetime, I say I wish, 'cause I don't think that we ever will in our lifetime, but I wish
Yeah.
in my lifetime we can get to a place where we can really recognize that, like, health just looks really different on different bodies, and
Right.
health can still be, I think, on different bodies. And, like, and also people don't like, I hold that with health is different for all people, and we should respect that, and, like, what's between them and their doctor is between them and their doctor. If they wanna discuss that
Right.
with you, they can, but, like, if,
And and I'll even
people
challenge that because doctors are very fat phobic
you're right,
around
you're
too.
yes, yes,
So
facts.
right.
To those who have a doctor who has a weight neutral understanding and
Uh-huh.
vernacular and context, like, that can be between them and, or people who have a weight neutral liberatory dietitian, like, that's between them and the health team that they work with.
Yeah.
And I like it like and I can respect that. Damn, I forgot. I forgot what I was saying before then. Um,
Sorry.
damn, no, it's not your fault. I was like, what was I just saying about that? Damn. Oh, yes, but in my lifetime, but health is different to different bodies. Um, and also that, like, people don't owe you health either. Like, if people want to be
Yeah.
quote unquote unhealthy, like, they could, like, let them live their fucking lives. Like, we're not gonna die anyways, girl. Like, I don't know why you think, like, we're not gonna die anyways at some point. Yeah,
Big
yes,
part
yes,
of it.
yes, yes. Do I want to do the things for myself that make me live a long time? To me, sure, sure, sure. And that looks different for me and my body. That my doctor that I had that I trust, like,
Right.
we will be in collaboration of how to get there. But, like,
Yeah.
if people don't owe you their health or anything. So, anyways,
Right.
I rambled a lot about
No,
that,
you
but
didn't ramble at all. I think you hit some really good points, and I know that we're gonna get to a lot of them, but I think, the question that I'm asking or I'm wanting to hold in this space as you were talking was, I guess instead of asking the question, "Do we think that intentional weight loss is fat
mm,
phobic?" The question reads is, "How does intentional weight loss read as fat phobic?" Because
yeah,
I'll say this, like, I can understand someone saying, like, and again, I think this is one of those conversations that there is no right answer, right? Like,
mhm.
I
There's
truly
wrong
believe that,
answers,
okay,
but there's no right answer, I
there
think.
there is no right
Okay.
answer. There's a lot of wrong answers, but there are no right answers. And what I will say is, like, okay, like, when we're talking about issues of race, okay, there usually is only one right answer, right? But I think when we start talking about bodies and body sizes and the way people want to, like, you make a good point. You said what you want to do with your body is what you want to do with your body. Facts, right? I truly believe that if you are in a mind where you say, I want to lose weight, I don't like I don't like the way I look in this body. Okay, that's fantastic. Do you, boo? Where I start to have the problem is when you start shitting on a whole bunch of fat people because
Mm,
you are now thin. And that is for me what really brought this to my idea was I've seen people make intentional, like they'll post, whether it be a reel, whether it be a Twitter, a tweet, whether it be whatever the case may be. And there's always a slight jab of like, I used to be so unhealthy, but now I'm so, I'm so proud of myself for losing the weight. And it's like, okay, girl, like you didn't really have to say that you were unhealthy. You could have just simply
Yeah.
said, I lost the weight because I wanted to, and whatever the case may be. I mean, if you would want to say, I lost the weight because I wanted to be vain, or I lost the weight because I wanted to keep up with a lifestyle. Like, do you, girl? I'm not here to judge you, but my qualm, my quip is that it just feels like whenever people, whether they be on Ozempic or not, whether they be working with a trainer or not, there's always this jab that comes with the reason why someone lost weight. And that's where, for me, the fat phobia starts. That's where I made the no. And I think this is where a lot of this started for me. I said, when you start to lose weight and you start making those subtle jabs at fat people, you're telling me that you don't like looking like a lot of the people you purport to
Mm,
love. Right. So if you truly love
mm,
me and you say you're going to lose weight and then you turn around and say, well, I wanted to do it because I wanted to be healthy. Well, then you in turn are telling me that you think I'm unhealthy. And I can
yeah.
guarantee you that you can't keep up with me on a bike, honey. So like that's the kind of stuff I think about. I guess one of the other things that I was thinking so
Mm,
much about too in all of this is, kind of getting to this place of, you know, the real conversation that a lot of people don't ever want to seem to ever like step their toe in is desirability. Like a lot of weight
mm,
loss is rooted, and this, again, this is just me giving off my
mm.
humble, is that weight loss for a lot of people is rooted in desirability. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. Oof. Ooh. Okay. So there's there's a lot in here.
Yeah.
So one I'll say, just to go back a little bit. I think I think that I agree with you. I wish people would just be honest about why they lost weight. Like, if you want to lose weight, girl, live your life. But I think, like, when someone says, "Oh, I did it because I was unhealthy or to be healthy," that's just such a general statement. Like, okay, girl, but
Mhm.
like, why were you unhealthy? Was it because maybe you lacked access to food that make you feel good? Did you lack access to education about what it means, what your body needs for itself?
Yeah.
Did you have unhealthy behaviors that like led to
Finding
harmful
it. Yeah.
coping mechanisms? Like, when you say unhealthy, what does that really mean? Because saying I'm just unhealthy is like, girl, that actually doesn't really do anything for anybody, even yourself.
Mhm.
And it like and at your point, like, it then has, like, if someone says, "Oh, I lost weight because I was unhealthy," it's like, okay, well, then every other fat person who might see that is like, "So you think I'm unhealthy then?" And I think I'm trying to get into the space of, like, I've been working on detaching what people like. I know what society thinks, and know what people within society think when they make changes to themselves, and I've had to work
Right.
on, like, just no longer personalizing it, right? Like, because
Mhm.
I because I they have their truth, and I have, like, my truth, and somewhere between is, like, the actual truth, and I think the truth can fit multiple different narratives and lenses, and so I'm like, "You know what? Like, that's the truth," and, like, pish posh. Like, I don't need to have them in my life, but okay, so
Yeah.
I think so that's one thing I think about when it comes to the idea of them framing it as unhealthy. Or, but I do wish people would just say, I like again, like, right, like, Roxanne Gay, and I want to honor my friend Faith, who's a listener of the show, one of my, like, favorite folks. I'm just one of my best friends here, anyways. But, like, one of my favorite folks when it comes to fat liberation work. Like, we talked a lot about Roxanne Gay, and how, like, she was honest, and like, in her weight loss. She was like, I'm tired of having medical fat phobia. I'm tired of not fitting in plane seats. I'm tired of, like, this happening. Like, I'm tired of these things. So
Mhm.
I have chosen to have, a weight loss surgery. Um because, like, I want to, like, I'm tired of feeling like I'm marginalized even more so than I am as a black queer woman, and now
Mhm.
as a black queer fat woman, right? So she did her surgery, but unlike many people, she never, like, stopped working towards the cause she's worked in for fat folks,
Right.
right? So,
Right. Right.
I think what's hard about the betrayal in this is, like, people lose weight and then they betray the work that they've done and the community that they've built. And that's what's also challenging too. Because if
Bingo.
you
Yeah.
want to lose the weight, girl, I support you in your journey in your life, regardless. I don't have to like it. It's so funny because it makes me think about my dad. My dad would always say this to me when I was growing up. You don't gotta like me, but you gotta respect me. And I was like, that's some
Hey.
bullshit. But now as I'm older, I realize I don't have to like what you do, but I have to respect what you do if I can respect it. Right. And I can respect it if you do it in a way, if you make your decisions and it doesn't change who you are and the work that you've done. It's just who you
Right.
are.
Right.
That's where I'm like, girl, you have lost my respect now because
Mhm.
now you act as if you're better than us. And that means that you've always thought not only that you're better than us now, that you were less than before. And that means that you think we should feel less than as well. And
Oh,
that's just
okay,
not
girl, let it cook. Let it
that,
cook.
you smell
Joho's
what I'm
in the
cooking.
kitchen. Let it cook.
and
Cause
I
you
that,
cause
that
you're
is
saying
just
the things. You're saying
and
the
that is
things.
just not the shit that I am down for. Like I and to me it's like I'm sorry, I'm sad that you felt less than. And I'm happy that you feel good now. But you don't have to do it at the expense of other people who have helped build you or supported you at
Mhm.
the expense of of us trying to make us feel less than. We can all feel great about ourselves and who we
Right.
are. And then to your point about
Right.
desirability, bitch. Bitch. Everybody
Mhm.
so many people do it to be desirable. And trust me, I gets it. I gets
Right.
it. Like
Right.
as a queer
Right.
man, I too am like, I want to be fuckable. I want to be desirable. Like I know all these things. And I think about all the time, I want someone to just like to want to just like take me to Pound Town and all that shit. But
Yeah.
I have to remind myself, like, if I do that, like first of all, like if I do it for myself and like whatever, right? But like to me, my thought process goes, if I do that, all I'll think about is like, damn, like this person would probably not have done this with me if I was fat, which is
If
shitty on
I
their
was
part.
yeah.
And also like then like I'm actually not doing it. Like if I'm not doing it for an actual reason to like
You're
benefit
doing
me.
it for them. Right. You're doing
Exactly.
it
And so
for
like, if I'm gonna do it,
validation.
I'm gonna do it for me myself only,
Right.
and
Right.
however that looks. And if I'm gonna do it, I'm not gonna sit here and act like I was never fat to begin with, or just say, "Oh,
Right.
I'm an ex fat and now I'm healthy." Like, girl, no, bitch, I've been
Mhm.
healthy. We all been
And
like
I'll
we all been healthy.
right, and we've been down this road. We actually I mean, I don't know if you remember, but a couple of months back, we invited a guest on the show and then found out that they had lost a lot of weight and immediately was posting and saying a lot of really ridiculous things about fat people.
Mhm.
And I was like, "Oh,
Mhm.
no, they can't be on this show." And so, I think that that's a big part of what you're saying is so fair because I think this is the layered piece of the notion around intentional weight loss, right?
Yeah.
For me, it has been and it will continue to be. I really don't care why people lose weight, right? That has really nothing to do with me. I go, okay, girl, that's fine. However, when you start to lose weight and you start treating whatever platform you have, whether it be the ways, I mean, because a friend of mine actually reached out to me about one of my tweets, and she was saying in such a loving way, she was saying, while I don't agree fully with this tweet, I understand what you're saying, she said, because I remember having a friend who lost a lot of weight and we stopped being friends because of it. Like, because of the things of
Mm.
like we started going out and doing things and she was critiquing everything I picked up.
Mm.
Or she was critiquing the places where I wanted to go eat. And I just kept telling her, you made the decision to lose the weight. That was your intentional decision. I didn't. So please don't come over here and start treating me like
Mhm.
I'm less than you because I'm not
Mm.
following suit. Right. And I think that's really what I was trying to say. A lot of people lose weight, whether and and sometimes people lose weight and don't want to lose the weight. But I think a lot of people
Mhm.
intentionally lose
Mhm.
weight and immediately start looking for little ways to be able to set themselves up as if they are to purport themselves as if they've made this grandiose decision to become a better person. And I think for me, one of the things that I've really been sitting
Mm.
with, um, and all of this, and I know we're jumping around this
Mm.
our show flows so much, but I think one of the things that has really got me kind of in my feels is the ways that society publicizes weight loss and how folks utilize weight loss as a badge of honor. I
Mm.
think that's one of the things that I've been really trying to get at is that, I've just gotten more and more I guess, annoyed, or I've started to question why people feel the need to post a photo of them fat and then post a photo of them thinner or quote unquote in shape next to it and say, this is who I used to be, as if that
Mm,
person who was in the before photo is not important, or didn't have feelings, or did, like,
mm,
you're telling me by
yeah.
posting that before, that the before was a problem, and that the after, it should be what we should be all trying to to look for. And I don't necessarily believe anymore that a before, and I've known friends like, I think Megan Tanja had a shirt that said, that said, I am not a before, and for a very long time I never understood what that meant, but now I do. Like,
Mm.
my before, who I am now, whether I lost the weight intentionally or I didn't, should not be valued as a person because I'm now thinner, right? Like, both of me should be important, whether I be thin or bigger. And I think that's the thing that really has really gotten me into thinking of, like, wow, we really have a problem when we start talking about body image. Yeah, that's just kind of where I'm at with that. Mhm.
Whew. So I, 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 I'm gonna put a pin really quickly in the badge of honor piece because it makes me think a lot
Mhm.
about like how we frame weight loss as as like a next level of morality. So I'm gonna pin next. I want to get
Yeah.
to that. But my first just directly the idea of the before and after, because as you
Mhm.
said that made me think about like so many people I see when they post before and after, they address their before as like, oh, I was so sad, I was depressing, all these things, and all, and like, and I read this and I'm like, so I'm getting from this is that like you weren't sad because you were fat, you were sad because life around you was shitty, and
Right,
so
right.
and so you
Mhm.
made changes that like and like yes, like your weight loss was a probably part of that change, but like you actually were never sad because you were fat. You were sad because of all these things.
Right.
And now you complete it as if like the fatness was a problem. But it actually wasn't the problem. The problem was like how shitty life was beforehand. You know, like
Mhm.
if
And who
like
made life shitty for you?
exactly like
Yeah.
if you're gonna talk about them, then then again, the point earlier, right? Talk about the things that like led to you want to make a change in yourself, but don't don't blame it on your fatness, right? Like don't blame it on being fat.
Right,
Like
right.
like it's giving Mean Girls I hate you because you're fat because I hate you. Like no girl, like like you weren't sad
Right, right.
like you weren't sad you weren't sad because you're fat, and you weren't fat because you're not sad either, but like you were sad for the reasons, and your body maybe shifted in some ways like for the behaviors that adopted, but like it
Mhm.
actually was never about your weight in the first place. And so I think about
Yeah.
the before and afters, I'm like, oh, but it's actually such a misguided use of like that terminology, because before really is like I was in a worse place mentally, and now I'm in a better place mentally, and like that's a great before and after. If you're like, oh, before I was experiencing these challenges in myself, and after I've made these changes, right? But like I think to your point as well, like the before person is also a full real person who doesn't deserve to be like
Mhm,
discarded like that. Like your before is actually still who you are, as
mhm,
is your after. So you can have them both be together in this, and like
mhm,
accept that your
mhm.
body's gonna fluctuate regardless. Still, like that's what bodies do. So
Ooh, yep.
I just like want to think about and hold that. The badge of honor piece hits me so deeply because it's so true. Like we frame weight loss as this sense of morality. It's something that I experience myself, and like in some ways, like I think about the ways in which I perpetuate it, right? Like if someone
Yeah.
tells me, "Oh, I lost weight and I feel great," I'm like, "I'm so happy for you," because I am like I am happy for them. I don't, but it sucks, right? Because then I'm like praising them for like what they like. I'm praising them for like truly something that feels not great to me, but
Right,
also like
right.
feels good to them, and I want to honor that it feels great to them. I think I've had enough EQ to recognize like I don't have again I don't have to love what they do. I have to respect what they do, and that makes them happy. Then I'm happy for them on that. But
Right.
like but I think people then say it to take it to another level, and they're like, oh, I've lost weight now. I'm on my like my moral high ground, and like girl, like
Mhm,
losing
mhm,
doesn't weight doesn't make you a better person. Like losing weight does not make you a better person, a more full human, a nicer person. Like it
mhm.
actually in some cases makes you a meaner person.
Meaner person, yep.
Oftentimes a meaner
Real.
person, and like I mean to me, I'm like you're more concerned about someone's body, like body than you are
Yeah,
about their
yeah.
politics about something. You are more about like whether they're fat or thin more than you are about like, do they believe in my rights to be secure? Do they believe in like do they believe in housing and equitable healthcare for all? Like they don't believe in any of
Mhm.
those things, but
Right.
but they lost weight. They must be so great. Like they're so brave. They're so strong. Like I think about a lot when I started running. People would honk at me and support. They're like,
Yep.
like I'm so proud of you. Look, bitch, I don't know who you are. Don't honk at me and go say
Yeah.
proud of me,
I
bitch.
will
For
never
what?
forget I will never
Ugh.
forget the person who pulled over one time while I was running. It was like, "I see you out here every day, and it's just so inspiring
For
for me
what?
to see." And it's like, "Bitch, like, I
I
don't
just
need your validation. I really don't." Like,
I'm trying to
fat
lose weight,
people
girl.
don't
I'm prepping for
need
the
validation.
apocalypse. Okay,
Right.
I'm prepping for the purge that's gonna happen because you bitches are crazy as hell. Like,
Right,
not crazy.
right.
You bitches are wild as fuck. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, but no, you're not wrong. Like I think you have definitely you hit on a very again poignant thing that I think that I really just want folks to really think about, right? If you are I guess that's kind of what this call to action is because I know for me I was telling myself the one thing that I really want to do as we're continuing to have these conversations that it doesn't just become what I like to think of as a bitch fest, right? We really are asking people and calling people to the carpet. And my thing is that if you are posting about health, if you are posting about your running or your writing or whatever thing that you're doing for yourself, right? Making sure that you're doing whatever you can to make sure that it's not underlined with fat phobic rhetoric, right? Like that's the thing I've always done for me. And even for me, like there was a moment where I was posting my Pelotons and then I stopped because someone had, I wouldn't say they made a comment, but someone was just kind of like, I'm sick of people always posting their workouts. And I was going, okay, so now for me, when I post because I want folks to be for me in my mind, when I post Peloton, I'm posting because I want other fat riders to see a fat
mm,
rider, right? Like I want someone to see me and say, well, if John can get on that bike every single day and do 3 different classes, so can I, right? And I don't, and it
mm,
has nothing to do about weight loss for me. It's the idea of like I've said in other shows, I want folks to see fat athletes. I want people to see fat people being able to do the things
mm,
that society oftentimes purport us to not be able to do. And so
mm,
riding three, Tabata rides for me is a feat because society doesn't tell fat people that they can get on a bike and ride at that caliber, for an hour and 15 minutes a day. So that's why I post the way I do. But I say all of that to
mm,
say that I really want to challenge people to listen to this episode if they get through this segment and say, okay, how can I talk about fitness? How can I talk about my body? How can I talk about who I want to become as a person without shitting on fat people? Like, because it's possible. It is possible. And I'll be transparent, even saying for me, I've even had to like really check in with myself about the ways that I like talk about my body, the way I talk about,
mm,
health, or I've had to relearn health because society will have you believing that skinny is the only way for you to be healthy. And that's not the truth. And while we're here, I just
mm.
wanted to say this real quick. I wanted to shout out Natasha Larmy. I think I follow her on social media. Dr. Larmy, she spends a lot of time talking about lifestyle choices, and I think that's a big part of this, right? Like you can improve your lifestyle by not being fat phobic, right? There are ways for like they're not synonymous. Like talking about lifestyle choices truly has
Mhm,
nothing to do with fat phobia, right? Unless you start being fat phobic. So you can say, I've made a
mhm,
lifestyle choice to where I want to run every day. And it just so happened that I lost weight in the process. Okay, that's great. But my biggest thing for me becomes when you start saying, well, I'm running because I was such a slob and I was so slovenly and now I want to be in shape, right? Like that for me is what I'm talking
mm.
about. But all that to be said, there is an article, and I will post the article in the show notes as well, where they talk about the ways that you really truly can talk about lifestyle choices and have it be independent of weight loss, et cetera, et cetera. And that how traditionally diets do not work, and that there has been a lot of research to show, like you said with you said Orpra,
Or
Orpra,
Orpa, Orpa.
okay, what you said with Orpa about how she's been on the diet train ever since we've known Orpa. But you know what blows my mind? Have you heard of the side effects of Ozempic?
Yes. Yes, I
Girl,
have, girl. Yes, girl. Girl.
I was looking around like, why would anybody with? I said, okay, so let's talk about it. A common one we ignore in the long term of using Ozempic is that you have long term stomach problems. Like you won't be able to shit right. Folks will also have, it says there's a high risk of kidney disorder. And now folks are starting to report kidney failure. All for
Oof.
y'all to say, look
Oof.
at me, I'm not fat no more. Like, I'm not
Oof.
judging. I'm not judging you. But what I'm saying
Mhm.
is just weight loss in itself is such an interesting business because you are practically killing yourself to be thin. That's what it's giving. And please come at me if I'm wrong. But I guess it's like
Nope.
when you are practically to say I'm thin, to say I can fit into a seat when the world could just make bigger chairs, or to say I look a certain way so that way I can get the job or I can be seen as attractive. You are literally killing yourself.
No, it makes me think about like people will say that it costs too much more money to like build a more equitable world. But I'm
Mhm.
like, they invest millions of dollars into like they invest millions of dollars into things like Ozempic or insert weight loss thing here instead. So I'm like, those millions of dollars could be used to actually build the more equitable world then. But what I hear from this is that they spend invest millions of dollars. So obviously, like for the sake of capitalism, people can then buy these things
Yep.
to achieve what they believe is like their ideal body or ideal lifestyle, but then like it all comes at a cost at some point, and that's what's sad too is like it's like these things come at a cost. And I realized a lot during the pandemic, rather that really made apparent to me like, oh, I understand now why how a little bit more about why science acts the way it acts, right? Like science is really more about what's most likely to be possible and like least
Right.
likely to be harmful, right? So it's like the vaccines were all emergency authorized because they were most likely to be good for us and had a chance of having bad side effects or like heart conditions and such, right? And like,
Right.
yes,
Right.
I chose like my risk level, like my risk tolerance was I would rather get vaccinated than not get vaccinated, so and get boosted, even though the
Mhm.
risk could be that I get these conditions because I value the public health over this, right? And so I
Right.
get people's decision making process of this to say, okay, the benefit is the benefit outweighs the risk to them.
Right.
The other part of me is like, but for things like this, like, does it because these risks could be I mean, kidney failure, gallbladder issues,
Yep.
and like pancreatitis, like though, those things are like organ level things that I wonder. I'm like, is the risk that great? And I'm sure there isn't. I'm sure like the actual risk factor is very little. Like I'm sure it's very little for that. But I also think
Mm.
there are other ways then to achieve the things that you want without having to do this, knowing that the risk is higher than like those things, right? Like
Mhm.
walking walking for an able-bodied person is free,
Yeah.
obviously, right, they'll be mindful, like, maybe people with different abilities might choose this as well, which I think is different, right? I think, again, going back to what I said earlier, like, fat intentional weight loss in itself, I think, is fat phobic or can be fat phobic. I think the methods in which or why is how people want to do it is what separates fat phobia from not fat phobia. I think of
Right.
folks like
Right.
who may have mobility challenges and how they want to have a body to then get a surgery or something, right? And that requires weight loss, and then so then they go on this, right? But then I also think
Right. Right.
to what end do you go to? For our girl Orpa, how long will she be on this? Will she be on this rest of her life? Like, is this a
And that's what they're
lifelong thing?
saying. They're
And
saying
that's what
Ozempic.
and like
Mhm.
that's what will cause like
Right.
possible issues with further is how long you keep doing this. So
Yep.
that's just
Yeah.
something I'm thinking a lot about.
Yeah, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I was gonna say that was one of the
Like,
things I
please.
had read into it. And I'll even say before we even, before it even looks like, I'm throwing shade at other people, I'll be transparent and say I looked into it. Like I looked into, to
Mm.
see what it was giving, when it first came about. I was like, "Oh girl, there's a pill that, there's something that can stick me to help me lose some of this weight. Girl, sign me up." And then, when I started talking, so shout out to Dr. James, when I reached out to Dr. James and I asked him
Mm,
some questions about it, Dr. James was very much like, I'm not going to tell you not to, but I will tell you that it is in your best interest to wait. And I am so glad that I did because, and it's not to say that I was trying to lose weight because I wanted to, a quick, fast way to lose weight. I was simply in my mind thinking to myself, okay, if there is something that is going to help me lose a little bit of this weight so that way it makes it easier for me to like I said, intentional weight loss, if it's going to make my life a little bit easier for me as I'm flying on these planes, as I'm trying to find cute shit to walk to these events, if it's going to make my life a little bit easier, I'm interested in it. And then they hit me with, "Ooh girl, you may want to wait." And I'm glad I did because now I'm hearing people say, I can't use the bathroom the way I want to, or I can't stop using the bathroom the way I want to. And it's just, it's a lot. And so I want people to hear this as they're listening to this segment and say, well, why did John bring up a whole segment about intentional weight loss if they looked into Ozempic too? I'm, it's a large conversation around I struggle with my weight. Period. I just do.
mm,
I
mhm,
have days where I feel like I absolutely love my body, and I'm like, you know what? Fuck everything everyone has to say about fat people. And then there are days where I'm like, I just don't want to do this shit no more. Like
mm,
I don't want to have to do. And I want folks to hear this and know that I'm not just one of those people that's like, oh, I'm super body positive and everything is great. No, I have my days too where I wake up and I go, or even, thinking about Peloton, like I'll see someone on the bike in a really cute shirt. I'll go to the website and I see it and it's only in 1X. And I'm like, great, because I can't
mm.
wear that shirt because 1X won't ever fit me, right? So like
Yeah,
I go through it too, but I think for me that I guess what I'm really trying to say in this conversation is that there's just something that is very ill fitting for me about the way people celebrate weight loss,
yeah.
however they do it. And in a way, when I guess my like the point that I'm trying to make before we, the nice bow that I'm trying to put on this is when you celebrate weight loss, oftentimes a lot of the ways that you celebrate weight loss is rooted in fat phobia. And I just want folks to step back and think about that a little bit more as they're thinking about whatever intentions that they want for their body, right? We all have that right.
Yeah.
But also make sure that you do your homework. Make sure that whatever ways that you take to get your body the way that you want your body to look, that you're not causing yourself more harm in the process while also harming other people. So
Mm. And I just offer like I just want to offer like a possible reframe of the of language as well because I think it's fully honest and transparent to name that we struggle with the world's views of our bodies. Like
yes.
I've been trying to get out of saying like I struggle with my weight versus I mean because the struggle like isn't with the struggle isn't with my weight. Actually, the struggle
Right.
is with how the world feels about my weight,
Real.
and so like
Yes.
I struggle
That's
with
real.
the
Thank
world's
you.
problems with my weight. I struggle with how I view my body in the context of that, and I struggle with like getting to a place of saying like I struggle with like sad feelings about my body because of what I'm told about my body. But
Right.
the issue is not my weight itself. It's the issue is around the people and things around
Mm.
my weight,
Mhm.
not me
Mhm.
and my weight. So I just offer that to I mean to you, to myself, anybody who like who's thinking about how do we maybe like reword the conversation we have with ourselves, because when we say we struggle with our weight, right? Then people are gonna be like, well, you struggle with your weight, then like they just lose weight. Because if we live in a world where people didn't hate us for our weight, we won't struggle with it at all.
Right. Right.
So,
Same way I
so
wouldn't struggle with being queer or black. Hello?
okay, exactly,
Right. Right.
exactly. So,
Mhm. Mhm.
thank you, John, for helping for I mean for really just like weaving in a bow with this. And I mean, obviously, folks, this is an iterative conversation all the time, but I really appreciate how much we've dived into this in this way because I think it's a really one, to me it feels good knowing that we're talking about this and that it's a conversation we have often on this show, that we have currently on the show, because that is
Mhm.
what the BFF Fat Femme show was about. Um, on that note, though, we will have to take a break because our haters are at the door trying to bang us down and sell us weight loss pills. So we're gonna have to address them really quickly and come right back. Be back in just a sec.
Get on, get.
Hey fam, we are back and we're gonna kick off the second segment of 2024 with how you healing. And I'll be honest, I know that asking this question in this segment might be opening a can of worms for all of us, but I still have to ask because it's New Year, same me, New Year, same bullshit, New Year, who this. John alluded to it at the top of the show that 2023 just felt, different. It felt heavy. It felt rough, especially with all that we've been seeing and feeling. Especially with all that we've been seeing around us and all that we've been
Yeah.
feeling around us from what we are seeing. So, I want to ask, how are we? How are you and I prioritizing our overall health and wellness and with all that has been is continuing to happen to our world? I'll just say, for me, as I'm sure you all know, walking is a big thing for me this year. I made like a instead of doing. I mean, I haven't done resolutions in a long time, but I typically do manifestations. But this year I did like a visual bingo card to be my physical
Mm,
manifestations, and so on my bingo card I put daily walks, and so it's one of my biggest de-stressors that I have, and I really appreciate living in an area where I can walk a lot. Like yesterday, I again walked to the grocery store, and I was like, "This is amazing," but also like, I can't believe I'm this person because like, who have I become? But I also love this for
mhm.
myself. So doing that, I've started limiting my caffeine intake because my doctor, after making conversation with my doctor and
Oh, oh
having
my God.
having heart palpitations due to anxiety and
Mm-mm.
stress. I had to limit my caffeine intake, and I'm only drinking 1 cup of decaf a day, which has been rough because 'cause I'm like, "Why?" But my heart be palpitating, and
You can't have no
so
tea either?
so tea hits is actually that's a good question because I feel like most of my tea probably is naturally decaf anyway because it's herbal. So really it's just the coffee. And I realize like sometimes
Okay.
it's not even the caffeine itself, it's like it's like the flavor of coffee that wakes me up. So I'm like, okay, the flavor of
It's
coffee
the
helps me.
sugar.
So
Mhm.
yeah, so I'm like, okay, and so I'm working on like cutting down those things that make me jittery or more anxious.
Okay.
Obviously the caffeine is also much a bigger issue of anxiety and stress. So I'm working on eliminating the stress factors in my life and the people who cause stress, the things that cause stress, which is hard to do because when I went to my doctor and they were like, oh, all your symptoms point towards stress and anxiety. I was like, that's great, but also horrible because if it was something worse,
Right,
you could fix
right.
it. But now you're saying
Hello?
I gotta fix it, but again, to my top of the show point, the work starts here. So I'm like, oh, I have to work for it now.
Right,
So
right.
making changes in my life, I would also say, I've really so it's interesting because I've had several people come up to me or like message me or if I still in person and just say, which has been really sweet. They're like, I miss your content. Like I just miss you posting things. And part of me is like, I did not like part of me is like, I never think I'm that important like I just don't want to like think I'm so above something. So I appreciate. So I didn't realize I was like that. I didn't realize that like what I do is like it's that meaningful to people, I guess, and that was really
Right,
nice
right.
and affirming. So like I said earlier, I have a clear picture of what I think I want to do. I want to get back into more creative work for myself. It's been hard to want to post considering all that's been happening, but I think I'm figuring out a way that feels authentic to me to like post and be my full self still while still participating in the things towards justice and liberation that I do. It just doesn't have to be so public. And so I think I've also worked
Mm.
on with my health and wellness, like recognizing that I actually don't have to be as public as I thought I used to. I
Right,
think
right.
so
Yeah.
much about our conversation with Ashley Marie Preston of like one we don't have to always suffer in solidarity, but also our actions to do things doesn't always have to be so public either. Like, because then the question
Mhm.
becomes, am I doing it to do it? Or am I doing it to like get recognition for it? And
Right,
so
right.
I'm like in a space where I'm like, oh, I can actually move in ways that reach towards justice and liberation work that fulfills me and that
Mhm,
flexes my politic of these things and not to be public about it and I can say like my public self for creative things. So
mhm,
giving myself
mhm.
space to think about that, giving myself space to actually like ruminate and ideate and like really happy to experiment with it. Like I'm really excited to that will be helpful. That will prioritize my health and wellness. And then
Right.
I keep going back to sleep. Sleep is just so hard for me to do. Like I'm not someone who can just stay on a sleeping schedule, but my visual bingo card this year was like at a certain point, just go to bed, girl. I don't need to like I don't need to stay up longer for somebody to just go to bed. Like if it's 10:30 PM and I'm just scrolling Netflix for 15 minutes, go to bed.
Go to
There
bed.
ain't nothing
Yeah.
for me on here. Just go to bed and call that a good day.
Go to bed. I'm so with you on that. I think a big part of our world is feeling like you always have to be connected in some way, especially when you like have a podcast or when you're, when you're doing quote unquote the work. Like someone's always
Mhm.
looking for you and your response. And I love the idea of you basically being like, I don't really need to engage this. Like even last night, like I know the Emmys were on last night and everybody was probably looking like for me to be like, yay for so and so, yay for everybody. And then I just was like, I don't care. Like I know no shade to the people who won. I'm so happy that there were a lot of people who won that needed to win. Quinta needed to win and there were a lot of other folks who won that I'm like, good. I'm glad that they got their flowers. However, I just don't care. Like I'm in a place now where it's like I'm not going to break myself to, and I think that's kind of falling into this. Like this year, I'm not going to break myself to like comment or feel the need to be the person to always be on about something when I
Mhm.
just honestly don't need to be. And I'd said that, like I had wrote, I think for me this year is a year of expressing my limits. Um, one of my limits is, I don't care to keep diving into conversations on Dave Chappelle and what Lil Boosie has to say about queer people. I don't care what people are saying about Lil Nas X. I don't care about what people are saying about queer people or drag queens. I'm not going to engage it. Like I just don't feel the need to constantly always be going back and forth with people who are committed to not seeing my fullness as a human. You don't
Mm,
see me as a full human? Fuck you. Period. Like I just
period.
that's it. Period. Like what else do we need to be arguing about? Why do I need to constantly keep going back and forth with you about me
Mm,
trying to make you see me from a dignified manner? Boosie, Dave Chappelle, anybody else, if you don't see me as a full human, fuck off. Like I don't need to go back and forth with you about that. And I had wrote that, years ago I would have been, trying to get articles out and I've been trying to pitch people. And this year I just said, I don't care. I really don't care. I'm not gonna allot that space in my head to be reserved and thinking about people who genuinely don't think or care about me. Um, and
mm,
then also too, like, in that same vein, making time for those who make time for me. Last year I spent a lot of time chasing down people, chasing down friendships, chasing down, relationships with people and I just don't have it anymore. I really don't. And I think this
mm,
year is going to be one of those years that if you're not texting me, I'm not texting you. Like, it's fair.
okay.
It's fair. Like,
Period.
why am I going to go out
Mhm.
of my way with, especially with all that I have going on? And I always feel the need to say this, and I know people probably like, why do you always say this? It's like I genuinely do not over exaggerate when I say I work my ass off. Like I am
Mhm.
literally always I'm always in someone's meeting about something. I always have something due. I always have something to do. Like I genuinely do not have time to be chasing after people. And so I feel like if you can understand that I'm out here working and doing the best that I can to make my life and other people's life better, then have at it. Do you be good, be blessed wherever you are. But I don't have time to be worried about people who are not worried about me.
Yes.
That's it.
It's a
So
mouthful
that is
there,
how
sis.
yeah, that's how I'm starting off this year. I feel like that is what's taking off a lot of pressure, if that's the right word. I think that it's taking a lot of pressure off of me in regards to how I feel about everything because
Mm,
for the last few years, I was always so worried about, oh, I have to make sure I make time for people and I got to make sure that I respond and I got to make sure that people see what I got to say and blah, blah, blah. Now I'm just kind of like, nope, I'm okay. All right, girl. Well, with that being said, we've got to take one more break for the good of the people. But when we get back, we are going to dive into y'all's favorite segment. Yes, ma'am. And no, ma'am, Pam. We'll be back in just a sec. All right, girl. So we're going to switch things up. What are yours? I know every week I normally start, but what are yours?
yes, mine's
Yes,
okay. My yes, man, Pam. Yeah,
yes.
strong is Quinta Brunson and Niecy. Wow, I can't say the names right. Quinta Brunson and Niecy Nash. The little tongue twisters that those are,
Mhm.
and their speeches at the Emmys. Quinta's because there was a moment when which she said, "I didn't," then she stopped, and then she just said, "Thank you," and I was like she was about to say I was like, I think she was about to say, like, "I didn't think this was gonna happen," and
Right.
I was like, "Oh, like, how hard that must be to think that and feel that and believe that," and then for it
Mhm.
to happen, right? And I appreciate that she stopped herself because she was like, "I'm not even going to like say that out loud because it happened." And so I like love, fucking love that for her. Our girl Quinta B. I mean, to have seen her since BuzzFeed to today is just so dope. And I fucking like I just live for Quinta Brunson so much. And I mentioned the work that she's put out with it. Her work on Blacklight Sketch Show, her work with the BuzzFeed, like she's just so dope. I'm glad she's getting the recognition and flowers that she deserves. I
And
also
deserves. Mhm.
mm-hmm, with Niecy Nash, like her speech. First of all, so and I appreciate what you posted on Instagram, sharing Instagram of that person saying like white folks don't use her audio where she thinks
Yes.
herself because and it's true because people will take that and do something different with it because she is taking herself because she knows as a black woman much as like I know as a black person myself like that there are things people have said you will never do and could not
Yep.
do, will not do, no matter how much you want to do and try to do them. And she fucking did that. And so I
Yeah.
love that she said, I thank myself, girl, you go on with your bad stuff and you did that because she fucking did that.
Right.
Deserved her flowers as she has for years. I'm so glad that she got them for this,
Yeah.
despite the show itself being a little controversial. Like
Right. The
her
show is
work is
trash,
but
but
she
the work
is
is not.
fantastic.
Mhm.
And I
Yeah.
really appreciate that I wish that she and with this for every black woman who she said has gone often unheard and she's often unheard and often over policed. I really
Yeah.
that was just like I mean people who are like posting her speech are not posting that part and I'm like post that part too because she is doing it for Breonna Taylor, she's doing it for Sandra Bland, she's doing it for
Yeah.
like for all black folks, especially black women who have been policed, killed, silenced, and all the above and everything in between. So she yes, man, Pam
Mhm.
to them, but no, man, Pam is to two things. One is to I know some time passed since the Boeing scandal happened, but like Boeing, girl, that Alaska
No, girl,
flight.
they are still in hot water. They are
Oh, I
still
mean,
dealing
no,
with it.
yes, you're right, you're right, you're right,
It's
you're right,
not old. It's
and I
still
realized I
yeah.
realized that the flight I'm taking from our cruise in a few months is a Boeing Max 737, and I'm like, girl,
Oh, yeah, you
roll.
gotta
I'm like, y'all best to get together before you have me
not ruh-roh.
basically row. Get it together
Wait.
before you have me out here had a parachute
No.
out of fucking plane, bitch.
Who you
The fuck?
can you say who you flying with? Chris, please, who are
Alaska,
you
which makes it sad because I love me some Alaska. I never have issues with
Oh.
Alaska, but I've only flown Alaska pretty much like within the West Coast, only to the East Coast one time. So I'm like, Alaska, y'all have 2 months to get together. Y'all have 2 months to tell me you gonna get a
Baby.
new plane because I refuse to be there when that whole rips open, bitch. Okay, that's
I
not in
wanna
my
know what
cards.
those people got. That's my thing, like, I really wanna know what those people got who, like,
I
were on
still
that flight.
I still believe I'm like this suspicious still. I still like this suspicious because you telling me in this economy on their flight to a metropolitan area they was not a full plane at capacity. It had no one in the row. Part of me is like, girl, that's
That's
suspicious.
suspicious.
Serious, okay. But I
Mhm.
I digress. My second thing is I was gonna say this earlier in the conversation, but I'll say now a lot of people and a lot of menses. Let me be really clear. Listen, I love the menses. I do. I love the menses. I love the ones that's so cute. Shit. I love
With an
them. I
a
love them. What?
I said with an asterisk.
Okay, with the astros, with the men's, with the astros. Like I love them and stuff. But I'm tired of seeing get ready with me videos. One because it's giving. Let me just show you my ass cheeks. Like
Yeah.
and all of them what makes me laugh is like all of them like struggle to put on their jeans or their pants right like over the butt cheeks
Mhm.
or struggle to like pull like they struggle to pull it over uh their peens and stuff. And I'm like,
Uh-huh.
y'all, like you, all it's giving me is like, look at my body for mediocre fashion. If you're
Yeah,
going to, if you're giving me a style, girl, give me a style, but do not, I repeat, do not on Beyonce's Green Earth
I'm
talk about
hollering.
you. If you can't jump a jeans on you for my pain, just for some basic ass white tee and jeans and maybe a jacket, girl. Give me fashion because all it tells me is like you are just here to say, look at my ass cheeks,
Look at my
which like
parts.
work,
Yeah.
like your
Give
butt's
me
and I love
Coleman
that.
Domingo. Give me
Oh,
Coleman Domingo.
thank
Yes.
you.
On
Give me a
both ends.
look.
Give me a moment.
That yellow
Like,
look, bitch,
now let me
bitch.
tell you,
Ooh,
now you know how I feel about a suit. I'm not a suit girl, but the way
girl,
I started Googling to try to see if they made that in my
give me that
size,
suit
like,
and give me him in
bitch.
the suit. The way I would,
Well,
ooh,
so I will
things
always see
that
Coleman as my boss. I'm sorry. I just every time people are like, "Coleman's so sexy," I'm like,
I'll call
I
him
just see
boss
him
all
as
he
my
wants.
boss.
I'll call him
I
boss all he wants.
Okay.
No,
Okay,
let me
we
stop.
are
Let me stop. You're right. You're right. Let
moving
me stop.
on. I am over it. I love y'all, but it's kind of the way that y'all be doing Coleman with me is the way that oh girl what's her name when they were trying to do that with her with the bear and they showed oh boy with his shirt off
Oh,
and she's like
Jeremy.
he's family. Yeah, like Coleman to me is like my
That's fair.
uncle. Like
That's
it
fair. No,
just
that's fair. That's fair.
I
That's
don't
fair. I get it.
I don't see it. No shade. I just don't. It's he is a beautiful man. I give that to him, but I just don't I don't
I
know.
haven't thought it much, but in that suit, I was like, oh,
He I you know what?
I
In the
said,
suit, I can see for
I
me, I
said,
even
just,
said, I see why people feel the way that they feel about
whew.
him. However, Coleman is my uncle, and I just
Oh, church
I
fan
will
going.
never in my head see it that way. All that to be said, shout out to everybody who is getting their things at this point in time. And yes, I agree. I too, I'm done with Get Ready With Me. I am done with you know what else I'm also done with? I'm done with this will probably be part of my No Man Pam. Those TikToks where people are like, "Of course I'm from here. This is what I'm gonna do. Of course I do this because I'm it's old. Stop. I'm
Oh,
over it. Get
I low key love that. I low key love that
no,
trend. I think it's cute. I think
I'm over it. It's
I think it's
done.
cute.
It's
I'm
done.
I've been trying to get my
Knocked
friends
off.
to do one to be like to
Mm.
be like we're fat folks. Of course we're brave for walking in the streets. Like that's what I'm trying to
I've
do, but
seen it done already. I've seen well, yes,
iterations.
of course we're fat actors. That was the one I saw, and I'm like, "Oh my god, can we come up with something else?
Something
Can we
else.
come up with something else?" But yes, I'm over that. So for me, in terms of my yes ma'am, I wanted to shout out Corporate Aaron and the nonprofit boss. I believe that both of them, while they may not be BFFs, and they could be a part of the community.
Yes.
I just love the fact that they incorporate, like they encompass everything that we hate about nonprofit and business culture. Like
Yeah.
they're just fucking funny. That's the only thing I can say is I think that they are absolutely it. My real no man Pam for this week is I guess just the people who are acting like COVID is not a thing. It is really, I'll say this, like, and I knew we were gonna get here, so I can't sit here and act like it's surprising me. Seeing the numbers, yo, it's like it's alarming. It is alarming how many
Mm,
people do not have the current booster and how many people are literally being hospitalized because of COVID. And so like I'm not trying to get on here and tell people again how they should move and how they should, you know, what they should do with their bodies. I know that
mhm,
there's been a lot of conversation about the vaccine and things of that nature. But what I will say is as for me and my
mhm.
body, girl, I am on booster 4. I told myself,
You said boost
y'all
me
are
up.
not getting boost me up, girl. I got the flu shot and the booster on the
Mhm.
same day. Will I ever do it again? No, but I will say that I did get both of them. And they got me. They got me together. They got me together. It's not an easy thing to heal from. But what I will say is just looking at those rates, my God, like it's really scary how many
Yeah.
people are acting like we're just oh, COVID is just a cold. And I'm like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
And I'm even seeing a lot more research come out. And again, if folks want to, want to clarify or want to make sure that again, I'm trying to make sure that I don't misspeak because, they love to tussle in the streets, honey. But I will say that I've seen a couple of articles from friends that I follow who are scientists that are saying that there is a lot of correlation between the HIV epidemic and the ways that long COVID treats the body. It's kind of the
Mm-hmm.
same thing where it starts to break down the immune system. Folks are
Yeah.
having long-term lung problems. There are all of these things that are coming out now that I don't think a lot of people are giving much attention to. So this is just kind of a general love PSA to say that if you believe in if you are a listener who believes in the vaccine, you should please go get the
You
vaccine.
should, please. Yes.
Yes, because
Agreed.
yeah, it is. Because you've got all of them, right? Did you get all 4?
Girl, oh yes, I also boosted and flu shot. Although I think I flu shotted probably just right before then, so I wasn't affected in that way. I heard
Woo!
people who got both in one were taken down. But girl,
Girl!
I if I could get a 6th shot, I get a shot right now. But they won't give it to me. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
I
my
would have as much
god.
shots as I need to make sure I'm protected.
Baby, I will say this and then we'll move on. I got that shot. I got both of the shots. Both in the same arm. That's the other thing that nobody
Ooh,
told me. Do not, if you get the flu shot and you get the COVID shot at the same time, do separate arms.
yeah.
Baby, the
Okay.
way that it felt like somebody literally came and just like Stone
Bop bop.
Cold Steve like
Like, bop bop
yes,
bop.
bop, 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 bop. Like my arm hurt so
Damn.
bad. And I was like,
Oof.
why didn't anybody tell me how bad my arm was gonna hurt if I do them both in the
Damn.
same arm? The other part is I really did think that I was in the clear. I thought I was good. I thought I was like, oh, I got the shot. I'm good. Ain't nobody gonna be worried. I'm good. I'm fine. I'm fine. That next day I woke up and it literally felt like it felt like I had COVID. It really felt like I had
Mm.
COVID. I had a fever. I was hot. I was running cold. I had the sniffles. I couldn't breathe. It was just, it was so, but by like day 3, by like that Monday, because I got it done on Thursday. By that
Yeah.
Monday, Friday was bad. Saturday was somewhat bad, but by Sunday, Monday, I felt better. So
Mm.
yeah, plan a weekend, honey. Go get your vaccines if that's what you believe in. Because COVID is out here and she ain't taking no prisoners, honey. She is whooping people's ass. All right. Well, with that being said, send us your thoughts, your feedback, your emails. We love to read them. We will even read them on the air chat. Send it over to
Yay,
blackpepperpod
please.
at gmail.com. Come on down. Come on down. You can also send us your thoughts via social medias by interacting with our post on Instagram and Twitters by using the handle at Black Fat Femme Pod. Queen Joho, where can the dolls find you?
Of course, my little subject, you can find me at Joho Daniels across all socials. And finally, just in time for the new year, you can find me on my updated website, jordan Yes,
Oh,
y'all,
yes.
I finally finished my website, and y'all gonna see a cute little refresh, some nice pics, some updating my links. I even got some featured podcast
Mm,
episodes in there as well too. So find me on there. If you don't find me on there, you can find me in every gay club seeing who knows the yes and say it with your
yes.
chest choreography, because that shit is honestly, it's a bop. I fear it's a bop. It's a bop. It's
Wait,
giving.
what? What's
Oh,
what are we talking
oh,
about?
yes, and by Ariana Grande,
Oh,
her new song,
Arianka.
but she
Arianka.
praise the Barianka.
I
What?
said Arianka.
I'm screaming Ariana. I'm screaming. So the
Mhm.
video inspired by Paula Abdul. The song is I believe samples Vogue. Like it's just so good. But she has a little choreo that our good sis Dexter Mayfield had posted it and got reposted by Ariana Grande herself. So I was like,
I
that's real
know
cute,
that's
sis. Go
right.
up. Yeah, so you'll find me
Yes.
in the clubs being like, who knows the yes and choreo. If you don't, then get out my face.
Okay, okay. Well, I love that journey for y'all. I think she's cute, but, definitely, I really just haven't had a chance to get around to that song. I'll get to
That's
it,
real.
but
It's
I
cute.
don't know. I'll get to it. All that to be said, that's for me. You can find me trying to figure out where this 10-foot alien is in Miami. I have questions. I want to know why y'all coming and why y'all not taking nobody back with you. Like How come, like, you just can't just show up. You just can't just come out here and act like we see you. You're 10 foot. You
Mhm.
are big. You are hard to miss, sis. So like, where is the ship? How do I get to it? And how do I get to wherever you're going back to? Because it can't be no worse than this. Where is the alien ship? That is the title of this episode. Where is the alien ship? So yeah, so that is what I'm looking for. But other than that, you can find me at Dr. John Paul online. You can also visit my website at www.drjohnpaul.com. We want to thank our amazing team of producers, managing executive producer Anna Hosnia and Rebecca Ramos, and our supervising producer Bay Wang for the handling of logistics, and everyone over at iHeartMedia who keeps this show up and running. Hanny. We also want to shout out our wonderful mix master, sound engineer, and editor Chris Rogers, because without him, there'd be no show. That's
Okay.
another one. Stay black, fit, fabulous. And remember that if you have subscribed to anything, you know how we subscribe to stuff on the break, and you're like, oh,
Mhm,
I'm
mhm.
I get 30 free days. Baby, your 30 days are up. So cancel it before you are charged that $29.99, and then you
Back.
be mad in the overdrafts.
Thanks.
Just trying to help you out here. Make sure you unsubscribe. But other than that, we will see you next week. We love you down. I love us for real. Bye.
Bye.